Hey, how y'all doing out there? It's your boy 20B with Keeping the G, 20B, Open Prison Discussions, and I'm on this live chat right now with my boy. We got a real good one for you guys tonight. I know it's been a minute since I tapped in on the interview, but this is a real good one. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know who you is real quick.
I'm Chris.
Where you from and everything?
I'm from West Los Angeles.
Okay. So my boy, he's been down for a minute, so I wanted to just give you guys his perspective of how prison has been. How long you been down?
I've been down over 20.
Over 20, okay. And so let him know exactly like what you're down for, and how long. Okay, how long were you sentenced for, and what were you convicted for?
I was sentenced to 80 years with 2 life sentences.
That's perfect. Okay, 80 years and 2 life sentences?
Yeah, I got convicted for homicide and gang enhancement.
Damn, okay, gang enhancement. And you've been down for over 20, okay. You said you're from West LA. Is that where you grew up, in West LA?
That's where I grew up.
Okay. What gang affiliation were you part of?
I was a part of the Los Angeles Crip.
Okay, yeah, that's a well-known gang out there. I've heard that's a well-known gang out there. Growing up, describe a little of your childhood for me, because I feel like a lot of it is what leads to us coming to prison, what leads to us right now. So let's talk about the past a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so, I think family dynamics and, your household plays a significant role in behavior. I think a lot of that is what leads people to the streets in general, whether
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Whether it's gangbanging or whatnot, drug use. And so it was significant in my life. I come from a single parent home where, my siblings had a great childhood. Mine was okay up until about 9 or 10 years old. At that point, my mom just checked out, mentally and emotionally.
Okay, how many siblings do you have?
I have 4 brothers and a sister.
Okay, and then and so are you the oldest, the youngest?
No, I'm the baby.
Oh, your baby? Okay, yeah. That's what's up. Okay, so you say mom's checked out mentally and emotionally. How would you?
So, my mom began to use drugs. Right? At that moment, the drugs became the important thing in her life. Right? She worked. She provided a roof over our head, but essentially that was it. Everything else, we had to provide for ourselves. And so my sister, she only 5 years older than me, really became my parent.
Yeah, typical black household.
Yes. So you're talking about a kid trying to raise a kid.
Typical black household.
You know what I mean? And so my sister being involved in gangs, she was one of the first females to, start my homegirls from my hood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she kind of introduced me to that lifestyle.
Oh, okay. So you looked up to your sister in all aspects.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. And was your sister and did you ever look at her as being a negative influence? Was she a positive influence, or how did you look at that impacting? How did you look at that at that time? That she just,
just growing up, because we were so close. You know what I mean? Like, as a kid, how do you process that? My mind is not developed well enough to understand, like, that lifestyle. You know what I mean? I knew they was into something. I just knew they were her friends. They were older than me. And, I looked at them like my older brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And so that's what kind of shaped me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Looking up to these guys.
Okay, so for me, I know for me, like my older brothers, they're great. They're from Watts, and that's what I look up to. I look up to my older brothers too, and I know I used to see them do things that was I'm like, okay, yeah, this is hard. This is okay, so that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom worked a lot. She was always at work. My dad was a Rolling Stone. He had a bunch of kids, so he was always, and so when I saw my brothers doing things, I figured like, okay, so this is what it is. So at a young age, I probably say around like 13 years old is when I started carrying guns. How about you? How would you say? How about you?
So I remember an incident. I was about 11, and I was hanging out with some of my homies that they my age. Some of them wasn't banging at the time. Some of us were. And so I was at my homie Joseph, his auntie owned a barbershop in the neighborhood. And we were out in the back of the barbershop messing around. We were doing kid stuff, even though I was banging. These are my friends, they didn't bang. And we were back there playing around, and some dudes from schoolyard pulled up.
Okay.
Right? These dudes are much older than us. We 10, 11, 12. These dudes is 16, 17, 18.
Explain what schoolyard is. I know, but a lot of people might not explain.
So schoolyard is another Crip gang in the West LA area.
Okay.
Right. So they rival other Playboy gangsters.
Yeah.
Right. And so these dudes hopped out on us and like, hey, where y'all from?
Yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm from Playboy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they whooped all of us.
Yeah.
Right. They just jumped on us, whooped us, or whatever. I go to my grandmother's house, knotted up, got hickey lumps on my forehead, black eyes, and my sister like, hey, what's up with that? I I dissed them, which we called them scraps back then. But I was like, man, scraps jumped us, walkie spot.
Yeah.
So my sister was like, oh yeah, that ain't happening again.
Yeah.
She went in the closet and gave me a 38.
Cool.
Right?
How old were you now?
I was like 11.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And she told me at that point, hey, don't let nobody ever put their hands on you.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Period. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
She gave me the gun. I never looked back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then from that age, being equipped with, with a hammer, would you say that's when your life truly changed in that aspect? Because because a lot of us, it takes for that to like, okay, now you pretty, you who you are, but when you get that steel in your hand, it's like, like you say, you never look back. You just fully throttle,
I'll say no, because I like knives.
Okay.
So as a kid, I played with knives.
Okay.
Right? I like knives. I always had a knife on me, right?
Okay.
And so, my thing was, I was so angry and resentful towards my mom, right, that when I fully got, foreclosed into them streets, right, my mentality was, I'm never going to experience this again. Right? Nobody ever going to hurt me. Nobody ever going to disown me or none of that again, right? And so my thing was, everybody in these streets is going to respect me one way or another, either because I'm that dude or you're scared of me.
Yeah.
One way or the other, you're going to respect me.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And so I became very violent.
Okay. And then in the midst of that, because I think it's a stigma. I think with a lot of us, it's stigmatized, with violence, with blacks, our households being the way they are, and single parent households, and then here comes the gang banging. And next thing you know, it's the dope dealing. You know what I'm saying? So did that play a part in your childhood as well? Because you figured like, okay, well, I got to get this money, so
I never was really into selling drugs because so many of my family members was hooked on either Sherm, water,
Yeah.
or crack.
Okay.
Right. So me personally, I didn't like sell drugs. I robbed dope houses.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I hustled.
Yeah. So you was a boy. That's you just fully. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What age was the first age you was arrested? Like what age were you?
I about 12. I said about 12. I hit the halls. I stabbed somebody in junior high school. I had a dude from Rolling 30s from Harlem. And went to the halls. And that was the very first time I went to the halls.
How long did you do then?
I was in the halls, I'd say about probably like 6, 7 months.
And after my little brother went to the hall, but after that it was just, he didn't turn back. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, oh yeah, I've been in jail. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not necessarily just like you got that, but it's that young mentality. That's how we, you know what I'm saying, and that's how we think. That's how we think. And that's how the brain works basically. Did you think like that? Did you look at it like, okay, you know what? I'm grown now. Shoot, I'm taking care of myself. I'm grown. I've been in jail. I'm carrying hammers. I'm doing like I'm robbing. I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm a grown man.
For me, it was more because like I was a mama's boy, right? And I didn't have my mama, right? Okay. So I just didn't care. In jail, out of jail, dead, alive, it didn't matter to me. At that very young age, it just didn't matter.
Okay, so let's fast forward. So now, when the first time you came to prison?
I came to prison in 1991.
Okay.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I came to prison for attempted murder.
Okay.
In 1991, so I got busted at 17 and spent. Well, I stayed from the county from 1988 to 1991. So I hit prison at 20, right? For 8 years and a half. I was supposed to get out in 1994 and got out in 2002.
Damn. Boy. Yeah, you was fully in it, involved in it. Okay, and when did you so you got out in 04, so
I got out in 02.
02, okay. And so how was life for you in 02 when you got out? What was your mindset?
It was the same.
Yeah.
Right back to the set.
Okay, so you were right back to it.
I was right back to it.
Okay. And was your sister still in your life at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about mom? What was mom doing at that time?
Ever since she checked out, that was the end of our relationship. I hadn't talked to my mom in all these years recently, so I finally reached out to her in 2022.
So, okay. So, what, that was like, 20 years?
No, that was about close to 40 years.
40 years?
Close to it, yeah.
You hadn't spoken with her at all?
Yeah, pretty close to
Wow.
it, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so in the midst of not speaking to her, I would imagine that you had a lot of resentment in your heart.
I did.
That whole time.
I did.
And when we carry that burden of resentment, we continue to act out unless we decide to grow. How was it for you? Was that life for you like that, or?
Yeah, it was, and so that was the driving force behind my anger. Right, because I was so upset with her. Like, man, how could she do this? She brought me into this world and then just abandoned me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What made you want to finally tap in with her though? Like,
so I kind of got pressured into that.
Okay, man.
Right.
Let me hear about this. Let me hear about this real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I got kind of pressured in that. So I was in this program that they offered inmates, RNCP, Offender Mentor Certification Program, right?
It's a program.
They certify you as a drug counselor, right? And so I was involved in that program, and so like the first portion of that program, you go through with healing yourself. So it's all about healing you. So it's about you.
Okay.
The things that you went through as a kid, you know, your family dynamics, and, you know, basically like the root of, you know, your anger, your resentment, the things that led you to a life of crime, right? And so in the midst of that, you know, everything was my mom.
Okay.
Right? Everything was my mom. And so it was a young guy in there named Chris, right? A white guy from San Diego. It's like, for myself, I am very private. I don't mess with a lot of people.
No, I know.
Right? And so I connected with this dude off the rip. Like, this dude had good vibes, positive dude, and I connected with him.
Okay.
And
it's a rare thing.
It is. And this dude made me so comfortable, like we got 2 breaks a day. During these breaks, he would just pull me over and be like, man, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah. Checking in.
You know, like, yeah, really, they like checking in on me, like, because I was shut down in class, like, I'm cool, I don't want to talk, I'm straight, or whatever. And so he always bugged me, hey, man, you need to talk to your mom.
Yeah.
You need to talk to your mom. Just have a conversation. Just tell her how you feel, or whatever. It's imperative, man. That's very important to your healing process, man. You need to talk to her. This is a young guy, right? This dude is probably about 12, 13 years younger than me, right? And so one day we was out in the day room. We came back from class. We was out in the day room. He was like, hey, why don't you go call your mom? I was like, hey, they my chill phones. You know, this dude in the tower be tripping. He ain't gonna let me use the phone. She was like, hold on. He went and got at this tower dude. I don't know what he said to this man. And the dude was like, hey, go ahead.
He made it happen.
Yeah, I said, you got a number? She answered, I'll talk to her. Yeah. So I gave him the number. He called her. She answered the phone. I talked to her for about 3 or 4 minutes. Right? I just wasn't that comfortable with talking to her. Because the minute I heard her, just all that anger and resentment, it just hit me. You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm glad to hear your voice. I'll call you, you know, in a few days or next week or something like that. So eventually I ended up calling her back because this dude used to hound me. And then you talk to your mom in group. We be in class in front of all these people. And then you talk to your mom? When the last time you talked to your mom? Like, damn, bro. Like, watch out. Get off me, right?
Yeah.
The long story short, I ended up calling her, and I had a conversation with her.
Yeah.
Right? And I basically told her how I felt all these years.
Of course.
Right? And, you know, her response was, really, I didn't know that. I said, okay, I'll take that. You know, because this really wasn't about her. This was about me.
Of course.
Right?
Your healing process.
Yeah, this was about me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Just getting that out.
Exactly.
Right? From there, I would call her maybe once a month. Right? But, like, as the time went, the more I talked to her, I was like, man, this is my mother. Right? Being a little older, being now that I understand life, and like things happen in life, I don't know what she went through as a kid, right? And so I know like those things play a role in parenting,
They play a big role,
right?
definitely.
And so now that I understand that, I wanted to repair and rebuild my relationship with her.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We're on great terms now.
How? Let me ask you. So how? Okay. Getting with all that, right? This is just switching gears a little bit, but I want to know. How did that affect you?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When it came to being in relationships?
So I've been married twice, right? So the first chick I was married to. So let me just women in general, up until pretty recent, right? I didn't respect women, right? Because I didn't respect my mother, right? So how I felt about her is how I treated women, right? I never physically hit women, right? Like me, I didn't know what domestic violence was until maybe about 10, 11, 12 years ago, right? And so I was very abusive, right? Mentally, emotionally, verbally, right? I mean, like I was very around women that I didn't know or women that I was just meeting or like their kids and their parents or their siblings or whatever. I was very respectful, like. But when it came to relationships, you couldn't get close to me. The minute you got close, the minute I pushed you away, like I sabotaged that relationship. Like, that's out. We're not doing that. You know what I mean? Because like I felt like this woman brought me into this world, right? And you don't care about me. So I just felt like my young mind, right? How somebody else gonna care?
Yeah,
how somebody else gonna love me? And my own mother doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
I feel like it's really important for people to realize and to understand, like, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of things stem from trauma. I know me and you spoke about that before. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people, that word isn't really. It's not used nearly as much because I think a lot of people, I'm going to say blacks, a lot of us, we run from that word. We don't use that, you know, the word trauma. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we don't use, but it's something that runs rampant in black households. You know what I'm saying? It's true. It's generational trauma. You know what I'm saying? So.
And it is, see, that's because trauma has a negative connotation to it, right? And so when people hear trauma, automatically they think something negative, right? I mean, whereas trauma is not a bad word. It's just something that a person went through in their life. And it's not necessarily, trauma is different things. You suffer trauma when somebody passed away, right? You suffer trauma when you know, a significant disappointment. You know what I mean? There's different forms of trauma. And so, like, I think people need to speak on that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So I have a better understanding of what trauma really is.
I agree. When I was, I think I was 10, 11 years old, my mom, she dealt a lot. You know, my dad was an alcoholic. He was always gone and stuff. But she was really abusive. She used to whoop us a lot. That was her thing. She whooped us a lot. And I'll never forget, I was my mom's baby. I'm my mom's boy. I was her baby, you know what I'm saying? And I got straight A's in school. You know, I did all, you know, did everything I had to do, you know what I'm saying? Right up until she passed away. That's when I just started gangbanging and all that. But anyway, so she was she would really whoop us a lot, you feel me? And I'll never forget, one day she had whooped me really bad. My older brother was going to court. And they was breathing on her to come to court for him, or they was going to arrest her for whatever he had did, you know. And so she was so irritated. She came home one day and the house wasn't clean, so she took the vacuum cleaner hose. You know, black parents don't play. She took the vacuum cleaner hose, not the flexible part, but the detachable part. And the way she would whoop us is we had to lay on the bed and put our hands out, and she would, you know, if you turn around, the whooping starts over. You know what I'm saying? So she whooped me so bad that day that when she left, I called my pop, and I'm like, man, she just whooped me, whoop, whoop. And he was always fucking with her, so his thing was just run away, I'm gonna come get you type stuff, you know.
Right.
And so anyway, long story short is I left, I ran away, and it hurt her so bad that I did that, you know what I'm saying, because her kids, her babies was everything to her, you know.
Right.
But how it affected me, I didn't really realize until I got older, because me leaving the household, because I was always with my mom. My mom was everything, you know what I'm saying. And I realized once I got older that it's a truth, because when she passed away, that abandonment issues is a real thing.
Yes, it is.
It's a real thing, you know what I'm saying. And I know that I feel like even now, I'm just now growing out of that, we suffer from abandonment issues. A lot of us do. And that's a part of trauma, you know, and that's probably what brought me to the word trauma. When I taking psychology and reading through abandonment issues.
Yeah.
So you're right. Trauma is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something you go through.
It's an experience.
You experience, exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the last day she died. The day before she died, I was the last person to see her. I hadn't seen her in months.
Right.
You know, she wanted to see me. I seen her, and she never get into a car accident that day. So, you know, it was just amazing how, how God had made that. I say it was God, how God worked that out. But I feel if it wouldn't have happened that way, I think my life would have been way worse than it is. And I still went out gang banging and I turned up like you, because once she was gone, I didn't have her no more. It was difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. Not having that, it was a void, basically.
And I'm gonna tell you that abandonment. There's so many things that come from that.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, like with abandonment, especially like with a parent or even like a very close sibling, right? Because that mess with your trust.
Yes, it does.
Right.
See, that's come on.
Yeah, that mess with your trust. I mean, that you get trust issues like being friends with somebody, or being close with somebody.
Yes.
The minute there's an argument, the minute there's a misunderstanding, the minute there's something.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
That abandonment, it's reoccurring.
Yeah.
It makes you step back, and it makes you look at it. You know, and a lot of times it ruins the relationship with the person. You know what I mean?
Hey, y'all, look, it's finna click out. You know, we in prison, so the lights go out at a certain time. We don't have no control of this. Well, listen, it's going to be a 3-part series. My boy's going to come back. He's going to come back with another episode of this. You guys, I really appreciate it, Chris. I appreciate you doing this. This is the first episode, you guys. You guys know you can tap in on my website, www.twinbee.com. You're going to find this on all my social media sites. Want to give a shout out to anybody or anything before I hang up?
No, I mean, just my thing is with, them teens.
Yeah.
And everything I do about those kids, man. Gotta break that cycle.
Our next episode is going to be focused on specifically that. So you guys, hope you tune in.
Times down, gave me a reason to smile now.